Where in your life are you currently letting I don't feel like it make the decision? Where are you currently letting your mood lead? Before we get into today's topic, I want to say something really important. If you are tired of being self aware enough to know exactly what pattern you're in, that you keep saying you're going to do these important things and then starting and stopping and not doing it, and it's been months, maybe years that you've been stuck in that pattern, but you're still watching yourself repeat it anyway, I want you in my live class that's happening this coming Tuesday. It is completely free. It is live. I will be there with you. And it is going to shift you in ways that I can pretty much guarantee nothing has ever shifted you before. That pattern I just painted the picture of is a very specific kind of exhausting. Like knowing what you should do, knowing what you want, knowing the version of you you're trying to become and the results you want in your body, your money, your relationships, your life, whatever, your house, anything. And then still somehow ending up back in the old pattern again and again. And it is not because you're lazy or because you need another motivational speech. And it's definitely not because you need to shame yourself into another restart. It is because follow through is an identity pattern. And in this live class, it's called Stop Starting Over, okay? The 5 steps to becoming the woman who follows through. I am going to show you from a neuroscience perspective exactly what needs to shift so consistency becomes normal for you. And this is designed for very busy, overburdened women living chaotic lives with work and life and business and kids and whatever. So this isn't going to be something time heavy or overwhelming. It's an hour of your life. This shitty pattern has taken years from you. Move things around and come live Tuesday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Grab the link in the show notes if you're on your device or go to alliecasasa.com/stopstartingover. Get yourself signed up and I will see you there. Let's get into today's topic. Hi, beautiful. Welcome to the Purpose Show podcast. If you have been letting, I don't feel like it, make your decisions, this episode is going to call you out. It's going to call you out lovingly, but also not that lovingly because listen, letting your feelings, letting your mood be the authority in your life, in your day-to-day, is actually ruining your goals. It's ruining you being the woman you want to be as you live that life. This is literally your life. So I kind of just wanted to put together this tough love episode, and it's actually based on something that I went through myself, coached myself through months ago. And it just, I don't know, it just shifted perspective for me, and I wanted to bring it here. So let's start with this. I don't feel like it feels so convincing. It feels so valid in the moment. It feels like truth. It sometimes feels like wisdom. It feels like your body is sending you a very official, important message that's just you deserve to rest. Absolutely not today. It's been a lot. You're carrying so much. We're not going to do that. It's okay. Just do it tomorrow instead. And sometimes, yes, sometimes you truly, your body is begging for rest. Sometimes your nervous system is asking for you to shift the plan and just take care of it. Sometimes your capacity actually is lower. Sometimes the aligned choice is just to adjust, but that's only sometimes. A lot of the time, I don't feel like it is not wisdom. It's the old subconscious pattern trying to stay in charge, to keep you familiar, to keep you in what your brain and your nervous system perceive as safe. Safe equals familiar. Familiar equals safe. Even if what's familiar is shitty habits that are keeping you in shitty cycles, in a shitty quality of life and quality of being in your life that you're unhappy with. And if you don't learn how to tell the difference between true, I need to shift and care for myself, and that old pattern, then your mood's going to keep running your life. Your mood is going to decide if you work out or not, if you post the content for your business or not, if you decide to send that important email or not, if you decide to set the boundary, even though it's uncomfortable, and being uncomfortable is so fucking uncomfortable. Your mood is going to decide if you get the kitchen clean and feel better about the house. It's going to decide if you go to bed on time. It's going to decide if you keep the promise you made to yourself. Your mood is going to decide if you become the woman you said you wanted to be. And respectfully, your mood is not qualified for that job. Your mood is allowed to exist. Your mood is allowed to be heard. Your mood is allowed to give you information about yourself and what's going on in your day. But your mood should not get to be the authority over your identity. Because what you do repeatedly becomes your identity. Your brain is always paying attention, okay? Scanning for danger, paying attention, making sure you're good, trying to keep you alive, right? At a very primal level. That like monkey brain mentality, right? And so it's also scanning what you do. It's also paying very close attention to what you do repeatedly. What you think, what you say, and what you do repeatedly becomes your identity. It becomes cemented in, wired in at an identity level as who you are to your subconscious mind. And then that is forming your beliefs about yourself and your thoughts, and it's just a cycle, right? If you've been to my one of my classes, you'll see like I paint that picture and I show you that cycle. That's what's getting wired in through your action. So if your mood is always determining what you do or don't do, you're literally letting the fleeting feelings and like literally just your mood, which can be influenced by so many things. You're letting that decide who you are, literally. And from a neuroscience perspective, that's what you're doing. That's giving away your power. Because if so many different things can affect your mood, like outside circumstances, things that you can't really control, all of that, and you're letting the mood run the show, then you're literally just like reacting to life and totally have given up your power. And like literally anyone or anything is in charge of who you are being and how you're living. Your mood does not get to be the authority over your day and ultimately over your identity. So that's what we're talking about today, because so many women tell me they want consistency. They just want to be consistent. When they say they're going to do something, they want to be consistent. How can I be consistent? But what they're actually waiting for is the feeling that makes consistency feel easy. They want to feel ready. They want to feel clear and level-headed. They want to feel motivated. They want to feel inspired. They want to feel like doing it. They want to be in the mood to do the thing. And that would be amazing. Like, listen, that would be amazing. And when it does happen, it is amazing. But if every time you need to do the thing, your brain is like, yes, let's go, queen. We are deeply inspired. We have energy. We have clarity. We have focus. We have clean hair and perfect skin today. We are snatched today. We are hydrated. We are being perfect. Let's build the life. Let's be consistent. Like, I would love that for us, but that's not real life. Not everything is going to be perfectly aligned. It's consistency in the shit, in the messy middle, in the real life. Real life is knowing that the walk would help, but not feeling like going, not wanting to change and put your shoes on and go out in the heat. Real life is knowing that, this posting this for your business to social media matters, but all of a sudden everything you write sounds stupid and you just want to like throw it away and just not do it. Real life is knowing that going to bed on time matters for your day tomorrow, but your brain is like, what if we just, instead of doing that, we just like embrace this freedom, this quiet me time, and we scroll for 47 minutes. Like, that's real. Real life is knowing the kitchen reset will make tomorrow morning feel so much better, but staying on the couch and just numbing out and like not regulating your nervous system so that becomes how it attempts to regulate. Those moments they're not meaningless. Like, those moments are this episode. Like, those moments are where the old identity makes its move. It's so easy to feel like the woman who follows through when you're motivated, right? It's so easy to step into her and to take action as her. When you're motivated, when you're getting the dopamine hit of like the fresh start, the new plan, that motivation hits and you feel so good. It's easy. It's easy to feel consistent when you're in a good mood. It's easy to feel like you want to be consistent when, the kids are kind of in a good mood and everyone's behaving and everything's easy. It's easy to feel like, the new era version of you when your new planner is open and the dopamine is fresh and the plan you made looks so cute with the little matching color highlights. But what happens when the feeling leaves? What happens when the novelty of your plan wears off? What happens when the plan isn't exciting anymore? What happens when your nervous system starts pulling you back to what's familiar? Because you're literally going so far outside of who you are at an identity level currently and leveling up and trying to be consistent with habits that don't match your current identity. So it's going to try to pull you back. Your brain's going to try to pull you back to what's familiar because remember, familiar equals safe. What happens then? That's where your identity gets built. That's where your brain starts to rewire. It's not when you're hyped up, it's when you're not. And I know that this can sound like almost too basic, like, okay, Allie, like no shit, do the thing even when you don't feel like it. That's revolutionary. But no, that's not what I'm actually saying. I'm not saying just force yourself. I'm not saying ignore your body. I'm not saying push through burnout. I'm not saying become an AI robot and a cute little matching workout set who performs discipline while, her soul is dying. No, I'm saying understand what is actually happening in the moment that you don't feel like doing the thing. That moment is not nothing. It's neural. That moment is where your current identity is making a bid to stay in charge. It's trying to stay in charge. It's trying to keep you the same. Familiar is safe. That moment where your brain and your nervous system are working together and saying no, can we stay in the old pattern, please? Familiar, please. Let's stay here, please. Let's not become a new woman today. It sounds risky. It's already been a busy day. I'm kind of worn out. That moment where your brain starts looking for every excuse, every seemingly valid excuse to get you back into what it knows. Scrolling on the couch instead of doing the Pilates on the floor or whatever it is. And if you keep obeying that moment, you reinforce it. You reinforce it and you further solidify that as your subconscious identity. Because repetition wires in identity. And everything you do is coming from your identity. Every time you wait to feel like it before you act, you teach your brain, we only follow through when we feel like it. And every time you take one small aligned action without needing the perfect feelings and everything to be lined up first, you teach your brain, we move even when the feeling is imperfect, even when we don't feel like it, even when life is kind of messy, even when the day is crazy. That's huge. That is identity level rewiring through action. You can rewire through techniques. You can rewire through action. There's different versions, okay? That's the difference between being run by your mood and then being led by self-trust and self-respect. That was a really big light bulb moment for me months ago. I was letting my mood run the show instead of letting my respect for myself and my goals and this life I'm living, the business I want to build, how I want to feel in my body. I was letting my mood lead over that respect and trust I need to have for myself. And I think that that's really, really fucking important because so many of us secretly think consistency means that we'll eventually feel like it. We're gonna become a consistent person and we're always gonna feel like being consistent. And they think that the goal is to become the woman who wakes up every day just naturally motivated, super focused, calm. She's responding to life instead of reacting to it. She's energized, she's excited, she feels good, she's ready to make the right choice. And I'm sorry, but no. That woman is psychotic. She's on a supplement ad. She's not real. She's fake as fuck. It doesn't exist. Even women who are super consistent do not always feel like doing the thing. They have just learned not to treat I don't feel like it as a command. That's the difference. They hear the feeling, they're aware of it, they acknowledge it. They may adjust based on the feeling and do like a micro version of their plan instead of, being perfectionistic and having to do the entire workout regime they planned, or, create 17 different Instagram posts for their business. They might make, two, and then come back to it tomorrow for the rest. Like, sure, they might adjust, but they do not automatically obey their mood. That is self-leadership. And this is where I think we have to get super, super honest. Where in your life are you currently letting "I don't feel like it" make the decision? Where are you currently letting your mood lead? And this is not like, for those of you who are just way too hard on yourselves, it's not like, where are you genuinely depleted and let's just override that and suppress it? No, it's not. Where is your body actually asking for and needing deep care? Not where do you really need rest? I mean the places where, if you're being honest with yourself, you're using "I don't feel like it" or "I'm just busy, life is hard right now." Like, you're using your mood to stay loyal to the old pattern. And it's tricky because this is happening subconsciously. It's not like you're consciously thinking that way. So where in your life are you letting your mood keep you loyal to the old pattern? Where is your mood leading? Is it with movement? Is it with doing what you know you need to do for your business? Is it with money? Is it with, your routine, your bedtime and wake up routine? Is it with cleaning? Is it a boundary, an email you need to send? The thing you keep saying matters? Like, where are you waiting for your mood to give you the green light, like the permission to do the thing that would actually create the energy, confidence, and self-trust that you want? That would actually create the life you want and have you embodying the version of yourself you want to be. This is where women accidentally hand their future to their most tired, avoidant, overstimulated self, and they let her run the show. And please, I just want to keep coming back to this. I'm saying that as someone who deeply understands big moods. As someone who's neurodivergent, severe ADHD, I understand the obsession with novelty. I understand being really intense. I understand chasing dopamine hits and the new plan and feeling really good and then really struggling to do the thing you decided you were going to do when that's all worn off. I understand having a brain that is like, can we please make this more exciting? Or, I'm going to jump off a bridge. Like, I understand that. But this is also why I know we cannot build our lives around the days when our brain is giving us perfect chemistry and we're feeling really good. We have to build systems, identity, and internal leadership that can carry us when motivation is MIA. It doesn't need to be like oppressive and really like heavy. Just it can be very supportive, but still systems that support our consistency for the sake of self-respect, building self-trust, and actually being the woman we want to be. Your dreams, your goals deserve more stability than your mood. Your body deserves more stability than your mood. Your business deserves more stability than your mood. Your home deserves more stability than your mood. Your family deserves more stability than your mood. Your self-trust, your relationship with yourself deserves more stability than your mood. Stop letting your mood be the authority of your life and be what makes decisions of what you do or don't do. And that does not mean you become super rigid. It means you become rooted. There's a difference. Rigid is like, I have to do this perfectly no matter what, and I'm going to push through and force myself. Rooted is more like, I know who I am becoming, and I'm choosing the version of this action that fits today. So instead of doing the whole 45-minute workout when your day has gone to shit and you're emotional and your period is coming and the kids are freaking out and it's really been a wild ride, maybe you go for a 10-minute walk instead, but you still moved. You see the difference between rigid and rooted? Rigid is like, I can't do the full workout. I can't do the exact, money management routine I promised I would do in my business, every single day. And I failed. Like, rooted is like, I'll walk for 10 minutes. I will check in on the numbers and then come back to it tomorrow. Rigid says, if I can't write the perfect email, then I won't send anything. Rooted says, I can just write the honest version and just let it be good enough. Rigid is, if I didn't wake up at 5, the whole morning is ruined. Fuck it. Rooted says, okay, I might not have gotten out of bed when I wanted to, when I said I would, but I can start from here. That's the energy. Not force, but also not complete collapse and just like, fuck it, energy. Self-leadership. There are really like 2 extremes women bounce between, and one is force. Okay, that's the version where you're like shaming yourself, pushing yourself. It's like David Goggins yourself, like overriding your body, trying to prove something, making every action feel like punishment, and very overly like toxic, wounded masculine energy. Okay, the other is total collapse. That's the version of you where every feeling becomes a stop sign to your a stop sign. Have you guys seen that video? Sorry. I feel like we need to play a clip of it. But oh my God. Okay, sorry. Back. The version of you where every feeling, every fleeting feeling becomes a reason you stop. You don't do the thing. I'm tired, so I can't. I'm overwhelmed today, so I can't. I'm not inspired. I'm just not feeling it, so I won't. I don't feel ready to start, so I can't. I'm not in the right headspace today, so I can't. None of those are leadership. Neither one of these options is leadership. The force and the push and the like go force version is not self-leadership. It's presenting as self-leadership in a stereotype way, but it's not. And then the collapse is not leadership either. Force says your feelings don't fucking matter. Do it anyway, bitch. Go. And the collapse, like the total just fuck it version, says your feelings are in charge. And I think that the big breakthrough for me was realizing that self-leadership says your feelings matter and they are not the only thing that matters. That's the middle. That's where so much changed for me, and I think so much can change for you, because sometimes you are tired and you do need to rest. And sometimes you are tired and you need to stop scrolling and go on the walk, because that is active rest and it's restorative for you. Sometimes you feel resistance because your body is saying, no, absolutely not today. And sometimes you feel resistance because the old pattern, that old wiring, your brain is panicking that you're about to become someone new, and that's unfamiliar. Sometimes you need to take a break, and sometimes the break is becoming avoidance. And you have to learn the difference. Because if you don't learn the difference, you're going to keep calling avoidance rest. You're going to keep calling procrastination alignment. I'm just not in alignment with that right now. No, you're procrastinating what you know you need to do to level up because you're not in the mood today. If you don't learn the difference, you're going to keep calling fear intuition. You're going to keep calling that old wire and that old pattern, oh, I just didn't feel like it. It's just really hard today. And your brain's going to find all these seemingly viable excuses to not do the things. And then you'll wonder why nothing is changing, why you're still in the same place. This is where everything you want being on the other side of boring consistency really matters. You know, I'm always saying that everything you want is on the other side of boring consistency. This is where it really shows up, because everybody likes that idea. Everybody nods like, yes, consistency, totally, Allie. Nobody wants the boring part though. The boring part though is the portal to the other side, to the other reality. The boring part is where your nervous system learns that it's safe to expand to the next level, to be a different version of you. The boring part is where your brain gets that repetition wired in. The boring part is where self-trust is built. The boring part is where identity becomes believable, becomes who you actually are. If you only show up when it's exciting, your brain learns that excitement is required. If you show up when it's boring as hell, your brain learns, oh, this is who we are, just like foundationally, like this is the standard. That's the difference. The woman who becomes the version of herself that she keeps visualizing is usually not doing these like wildly dramatic things every day. She is doing the same simple shit long enough that they change her. It changes her. And that is so annoying and also so freeing. I think it's freeing because it means you don't need your life to feel like perfect and amazing and motivated and cinematic in order for it to change. You do not need to be in your highest vibe. You don't need to be perfectly regulated. You don't need to be obsessed with your plan. You don't need to be inspired. You need to be willing to take the next aligned action while it just feels normal, boring, like when no one's watching. There's no immediate reward. There is no dopamine hit while your brain is trying to convince you that it doesn't count. It counts. The 10-minute walk counts. The one page that you read instead of the chapter counts. The 5-minute cleanup counts. The one honest post to your business account counts. The imperfect meal counts. The tiny little return to the plan, the micro version of the big plan you made counts. The small promise you kept to yourself counts. And when you let those things count, you start building an identity your brain can actually trust. Because one of the reasons people keep falling off is that they only count the dramatic version. They don't count the small version, the boring, imperfect version. They don't count the like, I just did what I could today version. So their brain doesn't get the evidence. And that's what I mean when I say perfectionism is literally ruining your life. So they'll say like, oh, I didn't work out this week, when they actually took 2 walks and stretched once because they didn't do the whole plan. They'll say, I didn't do anything for my business, when they checked in with their VA every day and they posted twice and sent an email because they didn't do what they had planned in their to-do list. They'll say like, oh my God, I'm so off track, when they actually made 5 supportive choices and 1 really messy one, but it was still a choice. That matters. Because if your brain only gets evidence when you're perfect, you'll always feel like you're failing. You are your harshest critic. You keep moving the bar. It's perfectionistic. It's impossible to meet. If you always feel like you're failing, motivation gets harder to access. So let me go over that again. If your brain only gets evidence that you're becoming that next level version of you when you're perfect, when you're doing it perfectly, then you're always going to feel like you're failing because that's impossible. And if you feel like you're always failing, motivation gets harder to access. So part of becoming consistent is learning to count the boring evidence, the little micro version you did that wasn't what you had planned on doing, that wasn't perfect. Don't lie to yourself and bullshit yourself and let yourself off the hook, but like count it, because your brain needs to see, I am becoming someone who follows through in real life, not fantasy life, real life, in the messy life. And real life follow through usually looks smaller than your ego wants it to. It usually looks smaller than perfectionism wants it to. That's fine. Let your ego be annoyed. Let perfectionism throw a temper tantrum. Let the evidence count anyway. The version of you who actually gets what she wants is not built from constant emotional highs. She is built from boring repetition. She's built from self-trust, from the small return back to the plan, from boring consistency. She's built from learning how to act from identity instead of mood. And this is another place where I want to be super clear, because I'm not anti-motivation. Motivation is beautiful. I love it when it comes. Use it. When motivation shows up, let it help you. Let it get you moving. Let it give you energy. Let it make the thing easier to do. But don't worship it. Don't wait for it. Don't make it a requirement. Don't put your whole life on pause until it comes back. Because if you wait to feel motivated, you will keep delaying the life you want. You will keep delaying the evidence your brain really needs in order to become someone new. So what do you do instead? When motivation's not there, what do you do instead? You make the action smaller than your resistance to doing it. That's one of the cleanest ways to get started. So if your brain is turning the thing that you need to be consistent with, if it's turning it into a mountain, lower the entry point. Not forever, and not because you're totally incapable of doing anything the way you plan on doing it, just because you're trying to interrupt a pattern, that old pattern of just like, fuck it, I won't even do it. That perfectionistic pattern. And patterns they do not have to be permanent. They can be changed. They just need repetition to be changed. So if the full workout feels like way too much, do 10 minutes. If the full morning routine feels like way too much, just do one piece of it. If the full content plan feels like too much, just post one honest thing. If the whole house feels like too much, just clear one surface. If your finances and managing it feels like too much, just open the account and look at it. Get into the habit of looking at your money. If the project feels like too much, set a timer for 15 minutes and just do that much. Anything else is a bonus at that point. The point of this is not that the small version is your final standard or what you're always going to do. The point is that the small thing gets you out of the identity of always waiting and avoiding and procrastinating. And that matters majorly. Because when you keep waiting, then waiting becomes an identity. I'm waiting till I feel better. I'm waiting till I have more time. I'm waiting till the kids go back to school. Waiting till I feel motivated. Waiting till life calms down. Waiting till this move is over. I'm waiting until I know exactly what to do. I'm waiting until, I'm not as overwhelmed. And then months go by, years go by again. And the woman you want to become keeps getting pushed into the future because today didn't feel ideal. No, babe, we're not doing that anymore. The version of you who follows through is built in today. Not a perfect version of today, actual today. With the energy you have, with the capacity you currently have, with the real life you currently have, with the honest version of the action you said you were going to take. That's how you stop waiting for motivation and start creating identity evidence and rewiring your brain through action. I think one of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself when we're talking about this topic is, what would I do today if I stopped needing to feel like it first? Not what would I do if I had a perfect day, or if I had 5 extra hours, or if I woke up as a completely different perfect version of myself. What would I do today if I stopped needing to feel like it first? Maybe you would move for 10 minutes. Maybe you would just go ahead and record the video. Maybe you would send the email. Maybe you would clean your room. Maybe you would go to bed and stop scrolling. Maybe you would make the appointment you need to make. Maybe you would open up the document you need to look at. Maybe you would drink the water. Maybe you would have the hard conversation. Maybe you would stop scrolling and actually let yourself rest. And then we can ask, what is the smallest version of that action that will still create evidence for my brain that this is who I'm becoming? Because this is not about doing everything perfectly. It's about interrupting the identity that says, I wait and I procrastinate and I avoid. I wait until I feel like it. I wait until I'm ready. I wait until it's easier. I wait until I feel like coming back. No. You are becoming the woman who leads herself. And sometimes self-leadership sounds like, I don't feel like it, and life has been really hard today, and I can do 10 minutes of this. I don't feel inspired, I can still start. I don't feel confident, I can still show up. I don't feel ready, and I can still take the next step. I don't feel motivated at all, but I am not abandoning myself. Not anymore. That's the shift. It's not hyping yourself up all the time or pressuring yourself to keep going. It's self-leadership. And if this episode is like hitting something in you, girl, you need to come to Tuesday's class. I am teaching it live. It is completely free. This is exactly the kind of pattern we're going deeper into. Okay. The class is called Stop Starting Over: The 5 Steps to Becoming the Woman Who Follows Through. It is happening live this coming Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And it's going to shift you. Like at a cellular subconscious level, it's going to shift you. I have packed this class with neuroscience, okay? Like even the way I phrase things, the way that I have you engage during the class, like it's going to begin softening those neural pathways that are wiring in the old patterns, the old identity, the old beliefs, and begin making way for new ones. This episode is about learning that your mood is not the authority. It's about seeing how often you let I don't feel like it, make the decisions for you. But in the class, we are going deeper into the identity level shift that has to happen if you want follow through to become normal for you. If you want follow through to not be forced or shame fueled, not dependent on a burst of motivation, but just normal, just default for you. Because you do not need to keep handing your future to your most tired, avoidant, overstimulated self. You do not need to keep waiting for perfect conditions to become the woman you said you wanted to be. You can learn how to follow through in your real life with your real nervous system, with your real interruptions, with your real family, your real emotions, your real responsibilities, and with desires that matter, that are worth your self-respect and your consistency. But if everything that you do is coming from the subconscious mind, then let's focus on rewiring that so that that behavior becomes natural for you. So come live Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. This is worth shifting some things around and showing up live because you're not going to get to the replay. So that's an old pattern too, expecting that you're going to go to the replay. The replay is only up until midnight that night anyway. Just move things around and come live. Okay? alliecasasa.com/stop starting over. No dashes or spaces. Just stop starting over. Go sign up now. The link is also in show notes. If you're on your device, you can just click it right there. And before you go, I want you to hear this. Your mood is allowed to change. It's going to change. It's human. And you are allowed to stay even so. You are allowed to become steady even so. Your mood is up and down. You are allowed to stop making your feelings the final authority in your life. You're allowed to build a life through boring consistency. You're allowed to let the small things count and rewire perfectionism so that it stops ruining your life. You're allowed to become the woman who doesn't need to feel like it to keep choosing herself. That's self-respect, that's self-leadership, and that gets to be you. As always, I am rooting for you like crazy. I love you so much, and I will see you next time.